extra time.
Do you think that the SCG gives India some advantage? I think traditionally it's viewed as a venue that gives India an advantage, although they've only actually had one win at the venue in 12 years.
Yeah, look, Pete, I think we're really, you think about the current Australian cricket team, most of them a lot of them are from New South Wales. They love playing at the SCG. I guess back in the day, you could have argued that there was benefit for India back when it used to spin big. But, we're expecting a really good cricket wicket here. And, we've got the advantage of having Nathan Lyon, who's a great spin bowler. So I think they're pretty evenly matched, and we've had good success here. Let's hope it continues this week.
Nick Hockley mentioned yesterday he had a chat with you about bubble life, which will obviously get a bit more challenging now. You're restricted to the hotel here in Brisbane. I was just wondering, what did you say to your players before entering this sort of lockdown, and what gives you confidence that they're mentally ready for it after a long couple of months?
Well, we all have a choice. That's one thing. We don't. No one's. No one's got a God-given right to play for Australia or represent their country. We've all got a choice, and we can always. Every one of us can step outside of it. I think I've been very consistent in saying that if anyone can deal with it, the cricketers can, because that's how we live most of our life anyway. So in the next little bit, we've arrived in Sydney. We've got a main session today, and then a top-up session tomorrow, which is consistent with what we always do. Then we're playing cricket. Then we get to Brisbane, and we do the same thing. So it's not much different than we're usually used to. It's a little bit tighter than general, but we'll get on with it. We know how important this Test series is. We want to, India beat us here last time. We want to make amends for that. And we want to keep moving our journey forward. And the only way you can do that is by concentrating on what we can, and that's playing great cricket in this third Test match in Sydney. All our attention is on playing great Test cricket in this third Test match. And then we'll deal with everything else that comes after that.
How much of a concern has the team's batting performances so far been? And also, what is your general assessment of the batting depth in Australian cricket at the moment?
I think we've got plenty of talent, no doubt about that. Obviously, Davey coming back in after injury, you're always welcome back your great players back into the team. I think there's plenty of batting talent in Australia. It's all about opportunities. You can only fit 6 batsmen in at one time. So it's all about opportunities. Obviously, we're addressing the issues. I mean, we've only scored, I think we got 200 in that second innings. But any time in Test cricket when you're not scoring over 200s, you're looking at ways to improve. I think that we've got to look at our strategies against the Indian spinners. Ashwin's bowling very well. We've worked hard on that the last week or so. Obviously, Bumrah's a world-class bowler, and Siraj coming in, I think he's a very, very skillful bowler. We saw that in the Australian A stuff. We've seen it in the past in Australia A. I thought he bowled very well for his first Test match, his debut. So we're interested to see who comes in as probably their third quick. Time will tell. None of us have seen the wicket yet. India probably saw it this morning. We'll see it in an hour or so. But it's game on. It's a good, tough Test series, as you'd expect, between Australia and India.
Obviously, it's been well documented about how Steve hasn't had, that time in the middle, hasn't been able to play any red ball cricket. Have you been able to do or try anything specific in training to just, try to, I suppose, replicate in some way that sort of volume that he needs?
Well, Stevie always gets the volume up in practice. We were hampered a bit by the weather in Melbourne. We weren't able to get outdoors, unfortunately, whilst the MCG ground staff did a great job. It was just that it rained a bit too much. But Stevie's always hitting a lot of balls. He did a lot leading up to it. But again, there's never, even for the greatest of players, there's nothing that replaces time in the middle. And, we know what a great problem solver he is. We know what a great player he is. Davey will be the same, hasn't spent much time in the middle. So the only way to do that is to concentrate and fight hard and earn the right to have spent time in the middle. So it's hard to replicate.
Just given Will's history of getting concussions,
how concerned are you about his, playing of the short ball, and if he, if India do attack him in that way?
Well, I mean, as he'll say, in the last 3 years, every team that he's played against has bowled a lot of short pitch bowling to him. He's practiced it. He's hit thousands and thousands and thousands of short balls, and he got hit the other day. I think the bigger thing for me, Will saw a independent neurologist yesterday, and he's seen a couple now. And I think the real heartening thing for him is that whilst he's had a few concussions in the past, and they're different, they've come in different ways, that it's not necessarily going to have any long-term impact on him. And I think when you can put your mind at rest with that, then that's a real positive for him. He's in a great frame of mind. He's incredibly positive about playing cricket. He's trained hard this week. And, as he and I have discussed a number of times, and I'm sure other people have, I mean, the only way to get back on the horse is to get back on the horse. And he's ultimately the one who's got to make the decision. I mean, everyone will have a different opinion on it. He's the one who's got to walk out there and face the short pitch bowling, whether it's from India or whether it's from South Australia or whether it's from Western Australia. He's the one who's got to have the courage to get back on the horse. He wants to do that. And that's a really, really positive sign moving forward.
For the last couple of years, one of the main problems the Australian batsmen have faced when facing the Indian bowlers has been, scoring at a slower rate than normal for Australian batsmen. Is that a concern going into this third test? And why do you think that's been the case? Is it the line? Is it the length? Or is it just field placing?
Yeah, look, it's a good question. I think India, their greatest strength over the last couple of series has been their discipline. They've been so well disciplined. And I think also, if you look at the last two test matches, they've been reasonably low scoring games. I've loved the last two tests because the wickets have been a contest between bat and ball, and you've got to work a bit harder. And that's what test cricket's all about. So I think there's the factor of the wickets we've played on. There was certainly some seam movement. There was a little bit of swing in both those wickets. India have taken a straighter line to a couple of our batters and set the fields accordingly. And let's not discount. I mean, Ravi Ashwin, I think, how many has he taken? 380 test wickets. I think I'm pretty close there. He's played a lot of cricket. He's as it is difficult to score quickly against Nathan Lyon or the great bowlers. The great bowlers are the ones who are hard to score against. And Bumrah's certainly up there at the moment. Ashwin's up there at the moment. We're aware of it. We know how we like to play our cricket as Australians. But credit to India. Credit to India. Very well planned, as you'd expect. They've had discipline with their bowling, and the wickets we've played on have been competitive. So we're aware of that, and I'm not too stressed about it.
Hit the subscribe option and the bell icon to get all the exclusive sports videos on Extra Time.